Cheat Code.
Welcome to Pickleball Cheat Code, the show for competitive pickleball players looking to level up their game. We focus on advanced strategies for experienced players, stuff only the pros really know. I'm Brody Smith. I'm a 5.5 rated player and a coach, and I'm here with my co-host, Tanner Tomassi.
Hello.
Tanner is a 6.0 level player and an APP gold medalist. Typically, if you've heard previous episodes, we said APP national bronze medalist, but get used to that, Tanner. That's what we're using from now on. Today, we're covering Tanner's latest APP gold medal win with a tournament recap. If you like the show, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Tanner, do you know how happy I was when I saw you take that dub? I wish I was there in person. My fear of missing out was level 100, but I just got to say congratulations first thing first before we get into this. I was so proud of you. I was so pumped. I can't wait to see the match footage. But kudos to you, man. That was amazing to see.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was really fun. I'm glad we made it happen, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Dude, let's keep it going. Yeah, you seemed jacked up during the match from the clips that I saw. I can't wait to watch it through. I saw it was on ESPN, which is sweet. So throughout the episode today, we're going to be going over the following. Some of the strategies that you went through. I want to break through quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, talk about the weekend as a whole. The atmosphere, some more in-depth match breakdowns, as I said, key takeaways, and then essentially what made you successful out there. So we can use that for myself, you, our viewers, to use that as fuel going forward to, make all of us better. But to kick things off, I would love to hear about the vibes at the tournament. Tell me about Newport. Tell me about the energy of the crowds. What was it like? Would love to hear all about it.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. That's my favorite tournament by far. And the reason is it's right on the beach. You can go surfing. It's super fun. I stay at my buddy's house, that Drake Palm, who lives in Carlsbad. So it's about nice. An hour drive. But he has surfboards and stuff. So I bring my wetsuit, and it's just my favorite tournament because it's in a great location. You're able to go surfing. You're able to play pickleball. And I think that's why I performed so well in this tournament specifically. Sure, I've been practicing a ton, but at the same time, like if I lose, I always care. But at this tournament, I'm like, oh, well, if I lose, I get to go surfing or something like that. So my mind, I think it's just completely at ease. Where if you're at a tournament at Dallas, it's like, oh, if you lose, you get to sit in the hotel room. So yeah, that's the main difference.
Taking shots at Dallas there.
Yeah, that venue.
So
yeah, they didn't do it this year. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, that's super exciting. And does that mean, because for context, Carbon HQ and our owners, they're in Newport area. So does that mean you'd be looking to move to Florida to Newport, or are you locked into Florida? Are you a Florida guy for life?
Yeah, I think once my pickleball, I was telling everybody there this, or my friends, once my pickleball isn't my number one priority. Like right now, it's pickleball day in and day out. It's basically my entire life. Yeah. Once that kind of takes it back, goes on the back burner, which could be 5-10 years. I don't know. I would love to move out that way. I think just the lifestyle there fits me perfectly. But for my life right now, I think it makes the most sense to be in Florida.
Yeah, the talent in Florida pickleball is just, you can't beat it. So yeah, that makes total sense. All right, let's dive into the tournament though. So you played with your man, Richard. Richard's who you got bronze with for nationals, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. As I figured. So you guys, I would love to hear. So you have experience with him. You've been at the highest level relatively with him. So obviously that's going to play into your advantage. Maybe some of the opponents that you played didn't have as much experience as you guys did. You and Richard, before you guys went into that tournament, what were some of your strategies that you had together? How did you guys adapt for this tournament specifically? And what changes did you make going into this?
Yeah, so I actually started playing pickleball with Richard in New Jersey. He used to live 2 hours away from me. So we would see each other at all the local tournaments. And our whole goal eventually, really when I caught up to that level, because he was always ahead of me, was for us to play tournaments together. So I'm living in Florida, obviously. He moved down here probably about 6 months ago. And we actually have been playing every day for the past at least month, every single day together, just dialing everything in preparation of this partnership. end this tournament. So I think just that is such a leg up on the opponents. Even if there's players with like stronger individual skill, not saying there is or isn't, I'm just saying theoretically, I think since our chemistry is really almost perfect, I think it really helps us since we're just playing every day together.
What would you say makes your guys' chemistry perfect, you think?
I think just the fact that we play so much together, like I know what ball he's going to hit. I know the ball. He knows the ball I'm going to hit. And more importantly, like we've really bought into that grit equity with each other of being able to, like if he does something wrong, I'm comfortable enough to say like, no, don't do that in practice, where other people don't get the luxury of having that. So we have our game plan pretty much like dialed in and comfort with each other.
Love it. Yeah. All right. Let's go to a little match breakdown, and let's start straight at the quarterfinals and then work our way to the finals itself. And we can spend as little or as much time as you want, depending on some nuances that happen within the matches that you thought were interesting. So first, quarterfinals, you took on another Carbon Pro, Rio Newcomb, who's the man. Rio is a great player, and his partner, Jonathan. And final score there, you guys beat him 11-5, 11-4. Tell me about that match. How did that play out for you guys? Obviously, it played out well, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that match was great. I'm friends with everybody on the tour. Jonathan Trong, especially. I've been good friends with him for a while. And nice. he's a great person to play against. I've practiced with him a ton, so I kind of know his strengths and weaknesses. Not that he has too many blaring weaknesses, but I just like know his game in a sense. And Richard knows his game as well. Rio played against him a bunch, so we kind of had a game plan going in to just try to like be consistent and just try to get flicks out of the air. And we were hoping that maybe they'd make some errors or pull some stupid shots. They ended up playing really great. The score didn't really reflect how the game went. The match was a lot closer. We just happened to pull away in those lucky moments. But I really think just like we just stayed super solid throughout. Like as I say when I'm in my videos, the better players stay super like a straight line all the way across, where the other players might have like dips and valleys. We just really stayed like a straight line the entire day.
Yeah, that's where the experience comes in, to be able to stay consistent, stay in that straight line. Otherwise, you will have dips and valleys no matter what, especially when you're not playing with your partner like you and Richard are day in and day out. That's what helps create that linear line when you go into a tournament. So no, that's awesome to hear. And obviously, like I said, Rich and Jonathan, those are not a easy team to beat at all. I've had to play Rio. I said Richard, I meant Rio. I've had to play Rio a couple of times, and he's just a monster, and Jonathan as well. So, and then moving on to semifinals, from my understanding, I think this was the number 1 seed, Eric and Purple Jesus, Max Manthau.
The number 2 seed.
They were the 2 seed. Okay, thank you. Give me the breakdown there. That is such a difficult matchup. I mean, you have Eric with his height and his reach, which is just insane, and technically, I would call it unfair. And then Max, who has a forehand that's just terrifying. He runs around it like Thomas Wilson does and Jack Sock does. So he's able to do a lot of crazy things. So tell me about some of the strategies going into that. And for context, they won game 1, 11-6 against you guys. And then you guys came back and won 11-7, 11-5. So I guess my first question is, what did you guys do to turn the tide? And, how did you guys shift momentum back in your favor there?
Yeah, so our strategy going into it, so I've personally never played them before, but Richard said he's played them like 4 times and has lost every time. Their biggest strength is just like the driving crash. It's just elite. And then if you played Max ever, like his specialty is dead dinks in the middle. So if you hit a dead dink to him in the middle of the court, he's just going to run around it, like you said, with the forehand, and his speed up is elite. He can go anywhere with it. So we just really made sure to dink aggressively out wide to him so he couldn't run around it, since his backhand isn't as big of a weapon. And then with Eric Lang, since he's a bigger guy, I really tried to incorporate all the new shots and IQ that I've been working on. For instance, like if somebody's leaning into the kitchen and I see them taking my balls out of the air, that's the perfect time to lob. That's the perfect time to go for a bag. And I wasn't nervous. I went for my shots. I got him with a successful bag that maybe was in his head the whole match a little bit. Like anytime I had a forehand, like I might do it again.
Setting the tone. Nice.
Yeah, as well as with like the lob, it just kind of gets him off the line, which allows me to dink more aggressively, which ended up just opening the court more on my side.
Let's go. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess let's focus in on that a little bit more in terms of a cheat code for the audience. So, if you're playing somebody that's really big, really lanky, you have a lot of advantages of that. You can take balls out of the air very easily. It's hard to hit dead dinks too. So, your way of countering that was more of the lobbing. And then, obviously, since there's such a big target, like I don't know if you've seen John Isner out in the court. He looks like he takes up the whole court because he's 7 feet tall, essentially. Point being, it opens up body bags left and right, right? Is that kind of what the disadvantage is and what you're targeting when you're out there?
Yeah, the height advantage is obviously good for the reach and stuff, but something that I've just started doing, I'd say probably like a month ago, Richard is actually the one who helped me with it, is like if you're playing and you're cross court dinking with somebody and they're getting balls out of the air excessively, you need to like just back them off the line. Otherwise, they're going to control the kitchen. So now, like the second somebody's taking my balls out of the air or they're leaning in too much, like I'm running through all the possible shots in my head. Like, would this be a good time to bag? Would this be a good time to lob? Basically, my whole goal is to get them off the line, whether that's a foot, 2 feet. And the way I do that is from the lob in the bag. I can't dink aggressively if they're up on the line. So somebody like Eric is so big, he's not going to move as fast as these smaller guys. So like by him off the line, it allows me to be more aggressive with my dinking and allows me to get more tricky.
That's smart. Yeah, because when people are playing that forward, it's hard to hit those pressurized dinks like you can be used to for other players that are being sagged off just a little bit. So for Eric, with that height, did you find it hard to lob? Because obviously, like you said, he's not as lightning fast as some other players out there. He's still quick, but was the lob and his height, is that still easy to execute? How many times did you try that against him?
I don't think Yeah, I don't think it was too difficult. Obviously, the smaller the opponent, the easier. But on the flip side, the bigger the opponent, the slower. So if you can hit like a lob at the right height, it will really like set you up. It's not super difficult, and it's over their backhand side since I'm going cross court. So I only busted it out one time in that game, but it was at a good moment to do it. Like, and it kind of just like gets in their head of like, oh my gosh, too many options he has. So I think I've been practicing a lot, disguising my dinks with my lob, with my speed up, with my aggressive dink. But like they can't really tell what's coming. And I just have so many options that I wasn't really nervous. I know the exact ball to do it on. I got the ball. I went for it. And it ended up just being perfect.
Yeah. So since they both apply quite a bit of pressure with Max's offense on his forehand and then Eric's reach. Were you guys more of the defensive team that whole time and playing more of the, defensive side of the game and playing by countering most shots? Was that your strategy going into it?
I would say yes and no. Yes, we were the more defensive team, maybe on our third shots. So like they drove and crash heavy, whereas we drop or drive and drop where they look for the crash. We look to get up to the net. But I think at the net, we were the more aggressive team in the sense of we both were dinking very aggressively and going for our shots with the speed ups, with the flicks, whereas they were kind of on the defense handling our dinks a little bit.
Nice. Yeah. And I feel like one of the key takeaways there too is being able to set the tone early and not just coming in as a passive team. Because what you said earlier, like you came in with some, very, very big speed ups, body shots, some lobs, letting them know that you're versatile and keeping them on their toes mentally, because then it makes your opponent scramble a little bit. It's like, okay, this guy can do anything with his dead dink. I better hit this dink perfectly, forcing them to have smaller margin of error, making more mistakes. So yeah, that's awesome to hear. Okay. So you win that huge match. That's massive. And you guys, switch going down one and then getting two in a row. You guys are in the finals. And then I'm assuming this is the number one seed. I could be wrong. You guys are playing Patrick and Kyle, old friend, new foe, your old partner.
They were actually the fourth seed. Jack and Will were the first seed, okay. But the fourth seed upset the first seed. That
makes sense. All right. Okay. No, that's good to know. So then you're going against Kyle. So you used to be your boy. You used to get some tournaments with him, another fellow content creator. Kyle's a great guy. And you go against him and Patrick, two elite level players. You win game one, 11-6. They win game two, 11-6. It's all square. Chips are falling here, and it's game three, and you guys pull it out 11-8, which is incredible. And I saw some huge hype celebrations. You guys were getting loud, getting rowdy. I love it. So going into that, it's Sunday. Like, you have a whole day to prepare for one match, Championship Sunday. What was that like? What was your mindset like going into that day and waiting later in the day to have that match start? There's got to be a lot of nerves associated with that.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit nervous in my head, but I knew for Kyle Kazuta as well, it was his first. No, his first championship Sunday for men's. I think he got there before for mixed, maybe, but yeah, before men's. So I think our match was at like 3 o'clock. I know I was feeling the nerves a little bit, but I immediately
Hmm.
thought like if I'm feeling the nerves, I know they're feeling the nerves, and I told Richard that. So like we just have to come out and kind of capitalize on that. And I think we did that the first game. They made a little bit more mistakes at the net from just like nervousness, it looked like. And me and Richard we're going for our shots. We set that as a strategy. Like if we're going to win, we're going to win going for it. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose going for it. We're not going to be timid and think that the moment's too big, because we play 4 or 5 hours a day for the moment. So when it comes, you can't be too scared, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So what's your advice somebody that's going into maybe their biggest match that they've had? There's a time delay. Maybe it's just a tournament you play and it's all in one day, and then there's a 3 hour gap until the finals, for example. So it's a similar feeling, but what kind of advice would you have for somebody going into that when you have a lot of time to sit there, reflect, and relax? How do you handle that gap in time there?
Yeah, like I just said, I think like you're feeling it. You can always assume the opponents are
Yeah.
feeling it. Everybody is, I think, at every level. So the way you want to do that is by playing your cards right and by kind of using that against the opponent, in the sense of like me and Richard, we were hitting drives on our third shots. We weren't dropping. We were driving, then dropping. We scored so many points off, I think maybe like 4 points alone in the last game, maybe something like that, of literally just off third shot drives. They miss it, or they hit an easy ball for us to reset, where it's like we try to reset it and then we're playing with our nerves, and or we try to drop it, we're playing with our nerves,
Mm,
we're missing into the net. So we really were focused on
that makes
heavily
sense.
we were making them play. We weren't going to give it away. And if you
Smart.
try to drop it, you can give it away when it matters in the end, in key moments.
Now I'm thinking of a moment in a tournament that I had recently too, where I was doing the same thing, and I felt some nerves where we were up and like it was ours to lose essentially, and I'd be missing my drops short instead of driving. So I guess the takeaway there too, and for myself now that I think about it, is when it's high pressure moments, just let it rip. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't know if let it yeah, I guess a little bit. Maybe like when we were driving at like 70%. Yeah. But yeah, that it just look for spots on the court to drive. Like for instance, I had a drive, I play the right side of the court, and I saw the cross
Hmm.
court player, which was Kyle Kazuta, maybe like stepping a little bit, like 2 steps over to the middle. So I drove at his outside hip because he was clogging the middle, and like I got a free point from that. I didn't rip it, but I just saw the opening, and he missed it into the net because he was waiting so heavily on that middle ball. So I think that you can be aggressive in that sense. You don't have to be aggressive with the speed that you're hitting the ball.
Makes sense. No, that's good to hear. Well, dude, I was so hyped when I said, like I said, the celebration. You were going crazy on both matches, semis and finals, just getting jacked up. Did you ever pull out the Marky Bark, by the way, when you were out there? I know we talked about it in the previous episode. Did the Marky Bark ever come out from you? Get in
I
people's
just
heads?
noticed I just noticed I have something in my teeth. So ignore that for the whole episode. But um, yeah, so funny enough, in the semifinals, not me personally. However, we had like four of our friends on the sideline, including Mark, the inventor of it, Casey Diamond,
No
my
way.
buddies
Mark was
Zach Marshall,
there.
and yeah, they were all going ballistic in between each point, and I think that they were barking. I think that's why we like were able to win, because the energy was on our side. We were getting fired up while the opponents were a little more quiet. In the finals, Mark had to fly home, and our other guy Casey, who's in the mixed finals, who likes
Oh,
barking. He used to live with Kyle, so he had to be neutral in the match. So it was just relying on me and Richard.
interesting. Yeah, I even heard for, like I was saying, for all of that too, our owners are saying that you guys had a lot of fan support there in the finals. And that really helped fuel you guys. You guys were getting jacked up, yelling at each other each point, you and Richard, hyping each other up. And we've talked about this before, like the mental game about talking too much, not talking enough. Like, what made you and Richard get so jacked up together, and how did that lead to your success? And like, when is the time to do that and to not do that? You know?
Yeah, we were trying to it's really a fine balance that we're still trying to figure out, of like I said before, trying to get in your flow state. And I think that This was actually Richard's idea that I think I agree with. It's like all of us as players, for the most part, except like maybe the top 5 PPA players, I don't know, top 10, whatever it is, or just top players specifically. Like if your flow state, it can't be in a sense of like being quiet, because then your thoughts kind of like eat you alive. Where it's like if you yell and get hyped up, that kind of like enables a different flow state where you're not thinking and you're just performing. Where it's like you can try to be zen, have inner peace, but like if you miss 3 balls and you're losing, like being quiet, like your brain is going to eat you out. Like it's not going to be possible to like kind of tone it off. Like I said, some people, but we found like it's easier just to get super fired up on every point. Like not only does it like get the opponents like just like flustered a little bit, it also just allows you to enter your flow state, because like you're leaving it all out there. There's no time to be in your head.
Yeah, you're just getting hyped. That's it. Make it simple, simplify your mind, get jacked up and have fun. I'm sure it's making you have a blast as you play, obviously. So, was there a specific moment, or just even taking back and looking at the tournament whole outside of winning gold, was there a moment that you were like most proud of, or a moment that you really had to dig yourself out that was something that was new to you that you were able to take away as learning experience?
Yeah, I think just like this whole experience was great, because now it's like confirmed the confidence that I do have the skill to do it. It's really just the only separator is the mental. Like I have the skill, Richard has the skill. If we're mentally there, like we could beat anybody. My favorite moment of the whole tournament for sure was winning the semifinals. Like you said, we lost the first game 11-6. We were down 5-1 in the second and third game, I think, and we found a way to win. Game 3, we were down 5-1 and won 11-5. So we went 10 straight points in a row. And the whole moment of everything come together and playing with having our friends on the bench. It was the most fun pickleball I've played ever. The semifinals, more than the finals, most fun ever. The finals is a close second, but just the semis with all my friends there screaming. I've played nothing like that before.
I love it. Did you throw your paddle in the clip, or was that Richard?
No, I threw my paddle in the semifinal. I threw it up in the air in
That's
celebration.
What I thought. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it. So do you think, no, I was going to ask first, for, like you won APP gold, like what is next for you in terms of things that you want to check off? Like you got that under your belt. You're that top dog going into that next tournament for APP. Is there anything else that you're looking to accomplish in the short term? Maybe focusing on PPA side, international, or is it essentially more APP wins?
Yeah, I think really now just keep on gaining confidence and consistency on the APP tour. Once you become like a top seed, like in this tournament, we were the number 3 seed. I think for the next tournament, APP Chicago or Michigan or something, a lot of the top players aren't going to be there. So I actually think we're going to be the number 1 seed, which will be pretty cool. So just being consistent. Yeah, being consistent in that sense. For other things that I'm focusing on, as I think I told you, but I've basically been writing a book for like the past year and a half, and it's finally coming to life. So that has been a really big thing of my focus that I want to do well. But for the actual playing, like just consistency, string them together, and really keep just building a bond with Richard, so we could just keep becoming a higher and higher seed and winning more and more.
Let's freaking go. So my last question is, do you think if me and Richard switched spots and I played, that it would have been an easier tournament for you to win? Like, do you think we would have just never dropped a game? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I think me and Richard only dropped 2 games the entire tournament. So I think if me and you played it, I think we would have if we went on pickles for all games. Nobody would score any points.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. This is I'm getting jealous now, because I could see that in every match. I was like, I wouldn't have missed that ball. I would have put that away, even for all your shots. Yeah. Anyway, I'm still manifesting us crushing it together in an APP, which will happen, whether you believe it or not. So that's all I have to say about that. That's it.
Love it. I love
it. All right, Tanner. I'm so proud of you. You're the man. Let's keep it rolling. I'm excited to keep riding this journey with you. Tournament after tournament, it's going to be a grind. You're that big man on campus now, but let's see what you bring next time. I'm pumped, dude.
Let's do it.
All right. Till next time. See you, dude.